All right, you guys. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys as I throw my leg over the 2021 Suzuki Katana. This is one of those bikes that as a kid, I would see a Katana on the road and just think, damn, that's cool. You know, as the years have passed, my feeling about sport bikes has changed a little bit. But at the same time, this is a rad bike. I love the look of it. I love the fairing, and we're gonna give it as spirited of a run as we can today. All right. So one of the things about a sporty bike like this is that the fairing is built right in to the front and to the headlight. So you know when you're turning the wheel, you're not going to see that fairing turn. I've ridden big touring cruisers that do the same thing. A variety of different bikes that do that. Adventure bikes do that. Just something for somebody who maybe is just starting out and maybe graduating to a Katana. Talk about the controls here. We've got power on and on switch over here. Hazards and your ignition down here below. On the left, you got your light controls, high beam, low beam, and pass, and then your scroll through your mode. Let me see if it shows here on the screen. Traction control. Oh, so traction control fully on. We're going to leave that on just for safety purposes. Your left and right blinkers, and then your horn. So fairly simple controls here. Off, 1, level 2, level 3. Oh, okay. Let's just go with level 1 traction control. Now you can see that traction control, and then it shifts through the levels. And then off, it looks like. So, not a whole lot to do. I mean, fairly simple, small display here, but very clear. I mean, to be completely fair and honest, to me, this isn't a super like clear what everything is. There's a lot of lines going here and there without any like differentiation in color. This could get a little confusing, but I mean, again, after you ride a bike like this for a while, you're going to get used to what it is that you're looking at, and as I look at it now, things are relatively clear. So you've got the tachometer around the outside to keep track of your RPM, your gear, which we just shifted into first, miles per hour, really large here, fuel gauge, engine temperature, odometer, trip toggle, and then your battery voltage, which all these things are fairly straightforward. All right, and then it looks like you can switch around your display brightness down there at the bottom. Not sure how you do that. We're not going to mess around with it, but something that's to consider. All right. So super excited to get riding here. Before we get riding, I'll just let you know we've got a fairly comfortable seat. It's pretty firm, as you would expect on a fast bike like this, a sport bike. It's made out of some pretty sticky material. When I say that, it just means it means that I don't feel like I'm going to slide back. I'm not sure what the actual material is, but yeah. There's no worry about that. Nice smooth throttle response here. I don't surge forward when I give it a little. I did ride the Hayabusa before, and I had the same feeling on that, the Hayabusa to me was always super intimidating to look at, and I never thought I would, when I first started riding, that I would ever gain the courage to ride one, but I did. And this same thing goes for this one as with the Hayabusa. Real confidence-inspiring throttle control, throttle response, and not a real heavy surge forward. All right, so I like the sound coming off the engine. Once we get going, we'll get a real sound of the exhaust too, but a real deep, throaty sound, especially for a sport bike. You know, sport bikes, especially, you can sometimes get that sound of oh. That light was like 5 seconds long. Did we all make it? Looks like we all made it. Kind of making a little adjustment to the mirrors here. There you go. Okay, so other things to note as we get going. As throttle response is really nice. this clutch is somewhat tight. Again, I don't know if this has something to do with a demo bike or a new bike, but you know, it's not a real easy clutch to pull in, and that's just something to take note of. You know, it's easy for me. In traffic though, I can see as you have to hold that clutch in, that could be demo rides. So nice smooth shift. There's a nice little click to it. I like having a little click to my shift, even though some shifters can be really smooth. I do like that. It's kind of like a feedback, sensory feedback, when you hear that or feel that click in the shift, and that's what you're going to get here. Riding position here is relatively upright. When I always think of the Katana, I always think of a really sporty bike, but not like the Hayabusa. We've got this really heavy lean forward, and you know, like rear controls for your feet. This has more of like a naked bike feel to it, where you're sitting more upright, your feet are kind of directly underneath you, and for me this is a really comfortable riding position. And I kind of get the feeling like the Katana was made for somebody my size, which is 5'6" and with about a 30-inch inseam. My arms are relatively long, so I don't have to lean forward much to grab these controls, the handlebars I should say, and it's just a real comfortable riding position, especially for a bike like this. That isn't to say that I can't scooch back in my seat and lean forward a little bit as we want to ride a little more aggressively, but this is, as far as a sport bike would go, this is a real nice riding position. I'll put down here in the on the screen here what we're looking at as far as ABS goes, but I'm pretty sure this bike has ABS. I mean, it does have traction control. Typically when a bike has traction control as a feature, you're going to have ABS standard as well. And just right off the bat, we got to let you know we got the dual disc up front. And as we get into this ride, hopefully we're able to get a little more spirited. Actually, it doesn't look like we're going to turn right here. As we're able to get a little more spirited in this ride, we'll talk about the horsepower and the torque specifications on this bike. Again, the Katana to me as a kid, like I said, was like the benchmark, right? I always saw the Katana as this really cool looking sport bike with the fairings. Always had a really cool color scheme. Right now, I know that it comes in black and it comes in this silver color. I don't know if it comes in any other. I would guess maybe white. So I'll list those color options down here as well for anybody who's interested. But yeah, this is such a cool bike. I really like where they've gone with the styling. Yeah. And again, this is a matter of preference, but yeah, I like the Katana a lot. And so far on this ride, I've enjoyed riding it too. Yeah. And yeah, so this isn't to talk ill of other brands, but what I will say is there are definitely other brands that I've ridden, similar category motorcycles in different brands, where it has kind of I won't say chintzy feel, but you know, you can tell that it's not made with the best parts. The plastic feels really plasticky, and I don't get that from the Katana at all. Has a real solid, sturdy feel to it. What I'll say is, when I was test riding bikes, it's like the difference between like a Yamaha or a Kawasaki, and then like if you upgrade, it's like a KTM or a BMW. I mean, obviously, like the European brands are known for their their fit and finish and paying the attention to detail. But this Japanese brand does feel like has also paid a real close attention to detail. I like this little badging here with the Katana on the handlebars. You know, there's little things like this, these little touches that they make, just makes you think that they've thought about, you know, the little things. And especially for someone, you know, in a position like this where you're constantly looking at the riser here for your handlebar, the bracket, you're gonna look at that a lot, and it's just kind of fun. Oh yeah, that is very nice. And as far as handling goes, this bike handles really well. You know, it's obviously it's what you would expect from a bike like this, but man, I would put this up there or close in competition with like when I rode the 890 Duke. That bike was super accurate is the wrong word, but just, you know, you point that thing and go. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, we'll get into a section here of road where we can lean into a turn a little bit and we can get a real idea maybe of some slow speed maneuvering, as well as maybe some wide sweeping turns where we can get a feel of how it feels to lean this bike a little bit. And as far as reliability goes, you know, I think whenever you're talking about the Japanese brands of bikes, Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, you can be pretty confident in their reliability. Oh, finally we got into third gear, slowing down a little bit here, probably waiting for the rest of the group. Don't pass me up, dude. Yeah, suspension feels really nice here. I'll have the suspension specs down here as well. I think you've got the upside down telescopic forks in the front and the single shock in the back. But yeah, man, it feels really nice. You know, again, when you're talking about a sportier bike, sometimes the suspension's kind of tight. But if it's adjustable, which, yeah, it looks like you can make adjustments, at least to the front suspension here on this bike. Again, I'll have those specs for you for sure. But when you can adjust those, and you know, you can adjust it so that it can be tighter if you're riding hard and you want that suspension feeling really tight, or if you want it to rebound really nicely if you're riding on uneven pavement, or on when you get into some real urban potholey environments, you want some nice rebound dampening. All right, so I guess we can talk about some of the other things about riding this motorcycle. You know, with a bike that has a fairing like this, sometimes the fairing will come up higher so that when you get into a tuck, you feel less wind. Not so much in this case because the fairing doesn't come up very high. It does feel like the wind is getting pushed up into my head. It's not like buffeting by any means, but it is. But I can definitely, I don't know if you guys can tell with the wind noise in the helmet here, that it's pushing the wind into my helmet more so than if I was just riding without any sort of fairing or any like a windscreen to deflect wind. And by no means, I mean, we've got it to about 55 right there. By no means is it like overwhelming, or does it feel like uncomfortable because of that wind deflection. Really easy to find neutral. Some bikes, you know, you stop the bike and you want to get into neutral and you're like clicking back between first and second. This bike, not so much. Very easy to find neutral. Yeah, I like the sound of this stock exhaust. It has a nice sound. And again, I'll put those specs for horsepower and for horsepower and torque if I haven't already. But this bike gets up and gets it really nicely. I would say it's very linear power though. I don't feel like in the lower RPM that I'm getting any more than in the higher. But again, we haven't really got to test it. I tried to surge forward a little bit there in third gear going into fourth, and it didn't feel like in the higher RPM like I was getting any more torque than I was in the lower RPM. Typically with a sportier bike, you're going to have a lot of torque left in the higher rev range, but this bike almost seems torquier in the early stages of your rev range than in the higher. I could be totally wrong with that, but in this short stint here, this is my feedback for you. And what I will always say on my test rides as you watch them is, you know, I talk about this bike, I talk about the feedback that I can give you as a rider on these short test rides, but I will always tell you got to get out there and ride these bikes yourself. Find a demo day, find an event like this where you can test ride a whole ton of bikes. I will also put here a link for you at the top of the screen so you guys can check out my video on tips. If you guys are heading out to IMS to an event like this, you want to know how to get the most out of your test rides that day, make sure to check that video out. Oh, it's always a bad sign when, you know, you're in this stage right here where the speed limit is, it can't be 40 miles an hour. It's got to be faster. And we can't get out, I can't get out of second gear. This guy's on the Hayabusa has got to be really frustrated. Look, it's 50 miles an hour and we're going 40. Oh. You guys, I gotta say, IMS, Southern California, maybe there's a reputation for the local law enforcement to pull demo riders over. But I was on the KTM test ride earlier of the 1290, and the same thing. We got out on the highway. On the highway we got out on, where the speed limit is 65 or 70, and we were still only going 55 miles an hour. So I don't know. I'm not sure if this is something that the demo crews out here have been made aware of, it to keep things slow. Definitely slow, because we haven't even reached the speed limit. But it's frustrating. It really is frustrating, because you get on a bike like the Katana or the Super Duke, and you wanna test that bike out. And you know, on a demo ride, you would hope to get on roads where you can go a little faster, so you can test that out. And you want to know how the bike performs in this situation. So in a situation back there where we had 50 miles an hour and we were going 40, 44, I can't even tell, you know, how the bike would feel in that situation, when it was well within within the law to do so. So anyway, I'll stop griping, but it is frustrating. All right, so we got a little slow speed turn here, probably the tightest turn that we've done so far. We'll see how it feels. Oh yeah, that feels really good, really confident. Yeah, little sweeping turn there. Yeah, that was nice. All right, so we are getting a little bit of an idea of how this feels. Okay, this is the best turns we've had so far, and this bike handles them extremely well. You know, I didn't even get low. Usually when I get into a turn like that, I'll get a little lower to lower my center of gravity. But didn't even have to do that because it didn't feel necessary. But this bike is super sharp when it comes to handling. Again, don't take my word for it. Go write it for yourself. Find a demo that's going to let you go over 50 miles an hour, and really get into some turns. All right. Well, I hope that's not for a rider on a demo. That would suck. Nope. No one goes that way. I think we're good. Yeah, really digging the sound of this motor, this exhaust. So I guess if we're gonna be nitpicky here, my biggest gripes with the Katana, I think, are this display could be clearer to me. And again, let me see here. If I put my visor, actually, it looks like so when I put my visor on it and it's a little darker, it looks a little clearer. I mean, it's nothing about how like it's hard to read. It's just about it feels cluttery. I feel like the information here could be a little better organized, if that's the right way to put it. I don't think it's necessary to have the odometer, and then like how many, or the trip meter so large, or the battery voltage. I think you can eliminate all of that completely and just throw the miles per hour on there much larger, and that'll really clean up this screen. Again, I don't think that's something you can do, but if it is, I will definitely put it on the screen here. And if you have experience, if you guys ride a Katana, 2021 Katana, make sure you let us know. Now, we're quite a ways into this ride now. I will leave the camera on just in case I think of something, but this is the point of the ride where I'll let you guys know. If you have any questions about the 2021 Suzuki Katana, make sure you leave those in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, and if I cannot, I will make sure I hunt down that answer for you, or get somebody who can. All right, guys. As we wind this video down, I would ask you, if you enjoyed this video, you found it at all helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Friends, if you're out there riding, be safe. Be kind to one another. My name is Eric. I'm that one guy, and I am out.